guys, my name is Sid, and I'm your host at day two of WTF20, world's biggest 3D digital conference for artists. Brought to you by PrintShop by Designhill, world's fastest growing creative print-on-demand marketplace. This conference is happening in association with our awesome community accounts, Logo Designers Club, Illustration Artists Club, Typography Designers Club, Graphic Designers Club, and Pattern Designers Club as well. And much love to our online education partner, Milan Art Institute, based out of Georgia, USA. And guys, for today's AMA session, we have Shai with us, the founder of Sison Designs, a design business based out of Doha, Qatar. Shai was initially an interior designer and even have a degree in the same from University of Philippines. And today she will talk about how she changed her niche to her current forte, which is pattern design, from being a watercolor artist. So if any of you wants to diversify or change your niche, this is a place to get all the answers to your questions. And guys, we will keep the sessions very, very interactive. So you will receive a lot of links and a lot of polls as well. So be participative and enjoy the session. But prior to that, we would love to show you what this whole WTF and what this whole print shop is all about. So here is a small show reel for that. So stay tuned, guys. We will be back soon.
So first, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Shie Sison. I am actually I'm an interior designer by profession, currently based here in Doha, Qatar. And then I quit my day job of being an interior designer, just staying in the office, because I wanted to create an artwork that I know can be of use every day. So I shifted from interior design to being a watercolor artist, designer, from personal projects to commercial. And then now I dived into surface pattern design just recently, just last year.
So we have the first question right now from a lady, Hana Iqbal. So she wants to know that how can she make her work more professional?
Uh, well, I think it should start with building your online presence. In my personal point of view, you have to create your artwork in such a way that if you want to put it online, you just don't post it just because you want to post it, but because you have a goal of getting clients for it. If that's your goal, if you want your artwork to be seen, to be able to make profit out of it, then you have to make sure that when you post it online, especially on Instagram, It has to look very neat, very catchy. So there are a lot of resources online. You can check how to um, to post your artwork, not just on Instagram. You can create also your website. You can put your artworks there. You can create a portfolio there. My tip for you guys, when I post my artworks on Instagram, I make sure it's all the time. All the time, it's on daylight. I use daylight, and that's the way I make sure that everything is neat. That's the way I'm able to get clients from it, because I make sure that my artwork is centered. I put a little bit of, just pieces to surround it, not a lot. So yeah, that's it. Online presence, website, Instagram.
So guys, make note of it. If you want to make sure that your artwork looks professional, there are like three key points. Make it neat, make it catchy, and post it on daylight. So it looks more natural, and that's the secret behind She's success.
Exactly.
So guys, she's letting her trade secrets out. Please make a note of them so we can all be awesome. The next question is by Navina. She wants to know
Mm-hmm.
how to use patterns in artworks.
How to use patterns in artworks?
So let's start
Well,
with the basics actually. Start with the basics.
yeah, it's well, you create patterns from artworks. When you create an artwork, it's either you create already a pattern on the artwork, or you create your artwork, put it on the computer, and create a pattern out of it. And then I don't um, I don't actually you know this is what I do. I create an artwork. There's two ways. I create an artwork. Either I already create the pattern on that artwork, or I create the artwork and then I put it on Adobe Photoshop. That's what I use most of the time. And then I create patterns from there. So that's it.
So basically, if I'm putting it right, so correct me if I'm wrong, Shi, you are actually saying that you actually create an artwork which you can say seed artwork, and
Yeah, this
then you actually populate it. So it
yeah,
just goes bigger and bigger.
yes.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I'd like to show some probably
Yeah,
some
of course.
examples. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, please.
Um like for example, this one. I don't know if it's clear.
Uh, yeah, it is actually clear now. So guys, can you
It's
say it? I
this is
know it's a
the
little bit glitchy. Okay.
the artwork, and this is the pattern on the other side. This is another one. This is the artwork, and on the other side is the pattern. And then sometimes I just create patterns from artworks.
Yeah, of
I
course.
just do it straight away.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
hope that there must be a lot of examples on her Instagram profile as well. So guys, don't forget to follow her, and we will shortly drop the link to her Instagram profile in your
You can
screen
see
right
those
now.
artworks on Instagram.
So please follow her, and you might find a lot of inspiration to make yourself bigger. And now
Mm-hmm.
we have a rock star in our question section. There's a question by Priyansh, a very relevant question indeed, actually. How to target, engage, and make our niche interested in us in such a saturated market?
This is one of the things that I actually researched on, and I studied a lot. No, my main goal years back when I started my online presence, I told myself I just don't want to post just because I want to post. I want to post my artworks on Instagram because I want to get clients from out of it. So what I did was I started researching on hashtags that had a lot of followers. So those were the hashtags that I used in the captions in my Instagram account. Every time I post, those hashtags that I use, that which I have been using since before, have been, for me, have been proven very important in a way that you know why? Because sometimes when I post something, someone or some people will message me or email me, hey, I saw this post that you put on Instagram. Is it available? Or there are other companies will message me, hey, we saw that artwork of yours at Instagram. Is there a way that we can reach out to you, and then probably we can create the design out of it. We'll put it on in our products. So for me, using hashtags is very important in that arena.
So
Especially,
guys, yeah.
Instagram is so, yes, Instagram is such a saturated market. That's the number one social media that I've been using ever since. That's how I built my following and then my portfolio. Yeah.
So basically, if we want to like summarize it, it goes on the lines that if you want to be no, if you want to get noticed, actually, you have to stay for long. You have to be consistent, and do not post just for sake of it. Research behind your every post. Have hashtags, tag relevant people, and start engaging with the audience as well. And guys, if you have such amazing artwork, please try PrintShop as well. In PrintShop, we have more than 50 products rightly for you. Just submit your designs and get them other products, and they are ready to ship worldwide. Where we will take care
Exactly.
of everything, logistics, customer support, everything, and you can set your commissions the way you want to. So we will take care of all the hassles of logistics and everything. What you have to do is just create a design. That's it. So
That's
she,
a
we
nice
are,
twin.
yeah. So of course, and we can actually have she as well on the platform sometime. She on
Yeah,
PrintShop
with
will actually go
very soon this month. That's my plan actually. After I'm finished with all of these
to. Definitely. So we will,
speaking engagement.
of course, we will soon see she over there. So to our next question right now. So there's a question by Kunal. So he is saying actually, how can we see pattern anywhere? But actually, I'm inferring he wants to know that how to drive inspiration from nature. Actually, I'm on those lines.
Um, well, you can see pattern everywhere. You just have to look between. People when people say you have to look between the lines, that you have to look between the things that you see. Uh, Anything at all, whatever that you see in front of you, you can use it. Create an artwork out of it. Doodle, use whatever, pencil, pen and ink, watercolor, gouache, acrylic, anything at all. You just, you know what, you can this is what you can do, just to try to practice. Just create one artwork, just one. You don't have to fill the whole paper. Just create one piece of artwork, and then from there try to cut it out. And then you try to practice your mind. How would you like it to be created into a pattern? You can play with it. You can move it randomly. You can make a pattern like it's in a singular line or in a diagonal line. And then from there, if you feel like you want to add more, then create another artwork and then you add on it, and it's like a puzzle.
There's a question by Yesa. She wants to know that how you play with color while making the pattern, how you choose your color combinations and everything.
Color combinations should start with, for me, I feel it should start with the color wheel. If you're not familiar with the color wheel, uh, please do a research on it. It's basically like it's going to give you an idea of how to to mix and match colors. There are different types of combinations. There's like analogous, there's complementary colors. You make it from the color wheel. And then from there, you change the hue. Hue meaning the lightness or darkness of a color. So what you do is you try to mix them. If you feel that in your eyes it looks off, then you move to another color. But before you do that, you have to research about the color wheel. You have to understand how it, it 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 it's placed in the wheel. And then from there you can do color combinations. I want to add, if your pattern is dark, your background color should not be dark. Your background color should be lighter than your pattern elements. If your pattern is light, then you can play with your background having a darker color. So you understand what I mean? It's basically just trial and error of what you feel like. Is it off or will it look nice? Yeah.
So, guys, do not shy from failing away. Sometimes you have to fail your way up to the top.
Yeah.
So, guys, so the next question is from Anusha Faruqi. What watercolors you prefer to use?
For watercolors,
I don't know
um,
because the question is about basically around pattern design, but she actually chose on those lines. But yeah, she's an audience, so we will respect the question.
the watercolor that I mostly use right now is Van Gogh. Um, it's not here. It's um it's already in my palette. That's why. Anyway,
Okay,
it's Van
so we
Gogh
can know, yeah, we
by
can note the
Royal
brand now.
Talents. Yeah, Van Gogh by Royal Talents. And I sometimes use handmade watercolors by Viviva, and then also from London Gifties, which is this one. This is from London Gifties. Then sometimes I use Winsor and Newton. There's also Koi. So actually, it depends on what project I have to do, and in my mood also. So all of those things, all of those watercolors that I just mentioned, that those are the usual
Okay,
watercolors that I use.
so we'll move to the next question right now. This question by Vonnie Lim. Vonnie Lim, actually, sorry, Vonnie. How do you make seamless patterns?
Just like what I mentioned a while ago, it's like creating a puzzle. You have to make an artwork, and you have to make sure that that artwork, that element, if you see it on this side, then you have to see it also on the other side. There are a lot of resources online that you can also do. You can also check on how to, I mean, especially the technical side of it, that you can check about how to make seamless patterns. But how I started creating seamless patterns is I created an element, I drew it on a paper, and then I cut it, and then I tried to like make a puzzle from it, and then made sure that um, one side will also be seen on the other side, so that that's how you say that's how you can see that it will be seamless. Then from there you can just repeat and repeat it.
So yeah, and from that, the next question is, how do you digitize your artwork?
Like I actually scan it to 300 ppi, and then I use Adobe Photoshop to clean it out. So I sometimes use Procreate from my iPad to clean them. I sometimes I use Illustrator, but most of the time I use Adobe Photoshop.
So here you have the answer. The answer is Photoshop. And now there is a question by Miss Corey Bean or Mr. Corey Bean. Sorry if I got that wrong. What kind of investments were of most valuable to you in the switch? Times,
And
tools,
and
etc.
actually, for me, the most important investment that I have right now with my work is my Wacom tablet. This one is very useful, especially in digitizing my artwork, cleaning it on Adobe Photoshop. Also, my iPad, and then my Mac. Yeah, that's it. Then with watercolors, I don't spend too much. I don't buy a lot of watercolors. I don't hoard. Whatever I have from 2016, that's still what I use until now. And also with paper. I don't buy a lot of paper. What I do with my block of watercolor papers, I cut them out so that I can save. Because I cut them out anyway. If you scan it, it will not be, you can expand it as long as you maintain the 300 ppi.
How to make your patterns more interesting and more interactive? How to make them lively, basically, that people actually like them?
Um, I think it's the use of elements and the color that you have that you will use on it, colors for the elements and colors for the background. Um, you have to um, check the trends. Type in Google, what are the trends in 2020? And then a lot of resources will come out. And then take note of it. And then from there, you will see the different color palettes that are that are unique and that will stand out this year and in the coming year. So from there, you know that you whatever patterns you will make will be catchy. Will drive attention to your following. At the same time, to projected clients that uh, you want to get, so that you can build profit from what you do, especially if that's your goal.
Of course, that actually makes a lot of sense. So on the same lines, actually, there's a question by Nigel. He also know that how do you set a contract for freelance pattern projects for a client, and also how do you set prices?
Contracts, um, about that, I'm I did a lot of research. I checked this graphic design standards. But right now, I'm working with an art agent, and she's the one dealing with all those contracts. That's one thing that I am not very knowledgeable about, because for me, numbers, it's like a little bit of a headache. So it's either you research a lot on that aspect and you have to build confidence to create a contract from it based on industry standards, or you can also um, connect with art directors, ask them what is the usual pricing that they give to their artists, or at the same time, you can also get an art agent for you to work that aspect out while you do your design.
So actually, there is a fan movement right now in the question section. So a lady named Vartika, she wants to know that how do we connect to you for work? She's a freelance graphic designer.
How to
Someone wants to work for you. So how can they
oh
work for you?
how do oh you can check my website. It's www.sisondesigns.com, or you can shoot me an email at contact.sisondesigns@gmail.com.
And she moving on, we have a question that how do you go from paper to digital without losing the aquarella texture? So it's a question
How
from an archive basically. How do you move from paper to digital without losing the aquarella texture? If
you
I'm saying it
mean?
right.
I From what I understand, with the question is, when you make the artwork, like it's like how do you make sure that when you scan it, you still have that watercolor feel? I think that's it, right?
Exactly.
Um, Number one, you have to have a good printer. I mean, I'm scanner. Sorry, scanner. You have to scan it at 300 ppi, and you have to work. You have to have knowledge on Adobe Photoshop, in changing the hue and saturation of your scanned artwork. because most of the time, when you scan an artwork, it is less saturated already after scanning. It's very different. Actually, it's actually very different from my experience. It's very different from the actual to the scanned one. So to hype it up, you have to have that basic knowledge in Adobe Photoshop in moving that hue and saturation, just to make sure you still have that watercolor feel from the actual artwork.
Okay, now she, I guess we are moving to the last question of the day for the event. So it's by Iriada. So actually, as you mentioned that you sometimes use Procreate, have you ever made a pixelated pattern, not vectorized? Do you think that without Photoshop or other vector programs, you can find contractors?
So from Procreate, I
Yeah.
create. Yeah, I actually um, I have done some artworks in Procreate, and I put it on Photoshop to enhance it. But usually, because it's pixelized in Photoshop, you have to really transfer it to Illustrator so you can enlarge it or resize it without um, lessening the quality.
Okay, guys. So once again, so I guess we're coming to the end now. And she, thank you so much for being a part of WTF20. It was amazing having you on board. And
Thank
guys,
you.
there's a surprise for you. The people who are registered for the event right now, they will all receive the recording for the event right to their inbox. So you can see the video again and again. And soon you will find different versions of this video on your YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well. And the next event we have lined up is an art jury by Nate Urban and Stephen Thomas. So guys, please register for the event as well. And see you there. And thank you, Shi, so much.
Thank you also. See you.
See you guys.